Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. Can you believe it's December? As we begin this Christmas season with all the lights, with all the trees, the decorations, maybe the gifts you've been buying, the traditions you're keeping up. I know for me, as a family, I like to put a lot of effort into making memories with my family. So I put a lot of effort and even pressure on myself sometimes. And sometimes during this season, we can get lost in the nostalgia of Christmas. And then we lose the deeper meaning of the wonder of Christmas. And that is in Jesus, the person of Jesus. So as we begin this season, I just thought it would be amazing if we could maybe put our focus onto the person of Jesus and maybe sing together a simple chorus, "Oh, come, let us adore him." So would you sing with me? Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. For he alone is worthy. For he alone is worthy. For he alone is worthy. Christ the Lord. We'll give you all the glory. We'll give you all the glory. We'll give you all the glory. Christ the Lord. Yes, Jesus, you deserve all the glory. You deserve all the focus in this season. So we put our focus on you today, on you this morning, Son of God. Sing together, you know this one. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, Noel,
our new Christmas song, You Found a Way. Sing along. It's the season to celebrate the reason that Jesus came forever for us, Emmanuel. We're looking beyond a star to see who you really are, forever with us, Emmanuel. You found a way into our hearts, no greater love than we have known. Now love will guide us home to you, no greater love than we have known. You are given to this world, a hope now for everyone, forever for us, Emmanuel. You found a way into our hearts, no greater love than we have known. Now love will guide us home to you, no greater love than we have known. Out of your mighty love, you've never forgotten us. How wonderful, how wonderful. Out of uncertainty, Jesus, our Prince of Peace. How wonderful, how wonderful. You found a way into our hearts, no greater love than we have known. Now love will guide us home to you, no greater love than we have known. No greater love than we have known. There's no greater love than we
Jesus, thank you for your love. Thank you that your love was shown through a baby boy. Because of that love, we can be lights, lights to this world.
All the lights are shining bright as a choir of angels sings, singing praise now in the heights at the birth of Christ the King. All the lights are shining bright as a choir of angels sing, singing praise now in the highest at the birth of Christ the King. Open my eyes, oh heart believe, no wonder that Christmas night be born in me.
shine for you and you alone. You alone. All the lights are shining brightly at the glory of the King. All the lights are shining brightly for the glory of your name. Yes, all the lights are shining brightly at the glory of your name. All the lights are shining brightly for the glory of your name. Jesus, oh, of your name, yes. Ah, Jesus. Oh, yes. We shine for you. Oh, with all the love you give. Jesus, with all the love that you give us, with all the love we've received from you. God, I pray that we would shine your light for this dark world, this lost world, for those of us even in this room who feel lost, sometimes even especially at this time. God, would we see and know your light? Would it be found in the people around us, beside us, near us? Would we see you more clearly as the days go by this month? That we wouldn't get lost in the chaos, but that we would be found in you, and we would have our peace and joy and love in you, God. So that is our simple prayer for this season, that we would be so connected to you, that our light would shine. And in his name we say amen. Amen. I hope that's an encouragement for you. We really wanted to set the tone for this season, for what it really is meant to be about. And that's about the person of Jesus, a baby being born to us, so that one day we would know how much he loves each and every one of us. And that love in turn, we can then share to everyone around us, near and far. So thanks for singing with us. Thanks for being here on this first weekend of our Christmas season. I'm going to invite you to grab a seat now as we continue.
How many of you are encouraged this morning? Amazing reminder, isn't it? You know, as we're singing, I was thinking of the beginning of one of the accounts of Jesus. And I think fitting as we lead into this Christmas season, it says in the beginning of the book of John, it says that in the darkness, that there was a light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness could not put out the light. And I was thinking of sometimes in this season, for a lot of us, it's easy to get caught up in the plasticity, the plastic Christmas, the part of it that isn't real, the traditions that sometimes are empty, or the things that are missing. And yet, just reminded today, even as we begin this season for us, even as a church, that Christmas isn't about a feeling or a gift or a tradition or lights or a certain kind of food. It's about a person. It's the person of Jesus. And may he be the light that shines. May he be the thing that makes it rich and full of meaning and life for you as you begin this season. So we want to wish you today a Merry Christmas as we begin the season together. So glad that you're here with us. Well, Merry Christmas to you. My name's Justin, and I'm your host today, and we're just so glad that you're here. Maybe if you're here for the first time, wanted to just take a second to welcome you. Maybe if you're here on the heels of baptism, you've come back from last week, we also want to just say thank you for coming back. We're so glad that you could be with us, and if you're with us online as well, we had, again, over 1,500 people on our online community watching last week and connected, and so we want to thank you for being part of our family as well, and we hope you feel like you're at home. We want to just start by letting you know, really everything that we do here at Central comes down to two reasons why we do it. The first one is we want to introduce people to faith. And so if you're brand new to faith, we want you to know that you can belong here before you even believe, that this is a safe place to explore faith and sort of figure out, man, is there something deeper to this that I need to know about, that I can learn about or understand or experience? And so we're committed to that. And we're also committed to you if you've been part of our church family for years, if you were born here, if you've been here for decades. We want you to know that we're committed to helping you grow deeper in your faith, to really understanding the depth and the meaning of even what this Christmas season is about, that we can help and walk with you in that. And so all of that couched with this idea that we want to invite people into a life that matters, that you can belong before you believe, and that there is a place for you here at Central Community Church. So glad that you're here. We want to connect with you as well if you are new, and so there's a few ways you can do that. Number one, there's a Connect card which you can find in front of you in the seat pocket. Simply take a moment, fill that out. We love to meet you when we say connect. Maybe it's just meeting your name, meeting your kids and your family, or maybe it's helping you take the next step. And so you can fill that card out. Simply bring it out these doors to the big giant blue wall, and we love to meet you and help you in any way that we can. Also, if you are a digital person, you're not about that writing life, you can text us as well at 905-937-5610, and just text the word connect. We'll kick you back a link, and you could fill out the card on there as well, and we'll actually send you a gift digitally as well. So that is available for you. And if you're watching online, we'd love for you to give us a shout out wherever you're watching from. Maybe you could write it in the chat window, or if you're watching on Facebook, we want to encourage you to share this and again, get the word out about what God is doing here at Central. And we hope you feel like you're connected as well. And so make sure you connect with our online host. And if we can help get you connected, we love to do that as well. So that being said, I'm going to invite our host to come, and we're going to give together. And again, if you're brand new, please feel no obligation to give whatsoever. We really do want you just to feel like you're home as our guest. And if you are part of our regular church and you're a regular giving partner here at Central, we want to encourage you. There are plenty of ways that you could do that, which you can see on the screen. But also wanted to let you know there are a few more weeks in the month of December. If you would like to get in your gift before the end of the year, you can do that. Christmas experiences as well as digitally up until December 31st. But again, we're reminded that we give because we just believe in what we're doing. We believe in this vision of inviting people. It's all about people, inviting them into a life that's meaningful, a life that matters. And so all that we do is because of you and your generosity. And so we want to thank you so much for all that you do and all that you give. So thank you so much for that. All right, I want to let you know of a few things that are happening in the life of our church. The first thing I'm really excited about, next week we have our kids takeover. And how many love our Central kids? Yes, some of you are, about half of you are convinced. Others of you hate children. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. We love our Central kids, and what I'm really excited about next week, I was at our rehearsal last night, and this is the kids play you want to go to. Okay, I have kids of my own. Most of them, I want to see my kids and then get out of there because it's terrible. But this one is amazing. Okay, so it'll be 30-40 minutes, and you're gonna love it. So that's happening next week. December 9th, 6 p.m., and make sure you come and support our kids. If you have somebody who has children, you want to support them, feel free to come to that as well. Also want to let you know, we partner with a fantastic nonprofit called Community Crew, and they are here over the next few weeks in our lobby. And so if you would like to come and support kind of some of the work that they're doing in feeding children, we are actually selling these edible, you can't eat the cards, but you could grow things out of these cards that are edible greens, and so it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. And so every card that you purchase to give away actually goes to feed 2 children in the Niagara region. And so if you want to find out some more information, head over to the mission wall, or if you're watching online, you could go to communitycrew.ca as well, and you can learn a little bit more there. Last but not least, we're really excited. Our team, I don't know if you know this, but we have a team that works really, really hard to do what they do here at Central, and those are, some of those are volunteers, some of those are staff, but they worked really hard this year to put out a Christmas single, kind of right off the heels of our last EP that we put out. And you just need to know that they worked so hard that you could have something to really encourage you over the Christmas season. And so this week there was a lyric video that went out, but there's also a new song that you could get on Spotify and Apple Music called You Found a Way. And so we want to encourage you, if you're looking for new music, if you're of the Christmas music type, you could download that, put it in your playlist, share it. And we believe in this truth that God did find a way to us, and he actually would do anything he could to get to you. And so that's the truth of that for us this season, and we hope you're encouraged by that as well. And so with that being said, we're going to kick off a brand new series today entitled His Name Shall Be. Why don't you check out the screens?
For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
Well, Merry Christmas. Okay. Scrooge. No, I'm just kidding. We believe we can say Merry Christmas in this place because without Christ, without Jesus, there is no meaning to this other than just another holiday to stuff your face and get things you don't need. So we're so glad that you're here. Merry Christmas. We are starting a new series entitled His Name. And over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be unpacking who is Jesus, why do we celebrate, and what difference does it make? But I want to start with a question for you. Actually, a couple of questions. The first one is, how many of you got your Christmas decorations up yesterday? Okay, how many of you do not have your Christmas decorations up yet? Wow, get on it, people. How many of you put your Christmas decorations on before December? Really? Like, I hope it doesn't show up, but I'm a little disappointed in all of you. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you do, I hope that you are getting ready for this amazing Christmas season. But here's actually the question I want to ask. And here's the question. What do you need to be saved from? You think, that's kind of an odd question to ask at Christmas. No. But it's actually the most critical question. I don't know if you're like me, but I wish I could be saved from the mall at Christmas time. Anyone with me on that? Like, I could literally, yes, thank you. I could be saved from the parking lot, right? Because I got to fight for a spot. Then I got to walk through the sleet, right, into a store where they're going to play the same music on repeat. Are you kidding me? Is there no other song than this sappy Christmas tunes that they play in those malls? And then of course, you jostle and you fight, trying to find the perfect gift for the person who has everything, and they're not going to like it anyway, right? And so I could be saved from all of that. But as trivial as that is, here's what I've learned about the holiday season. It has a way of actually exposing things that are underneath the surface. Behind all the tinsel and all the wrapping and the fake smiles and the false joy is actually a deep-seated problem. And we need to be saved from it. And we want to explore that today. For some of you today, you need to be saved from a financial mess that you find yourself in. And the greatest tragedy about this season is you're going to spend money you don't have to impress people who don't like you. And the only person who's going to care is Visa when they come for your interest rates, right? And you find yourself in a mess. You need to be saved from it. Or others of you need to be saved from a dysfunctional family situation. I know no one in this space has a dysfunctional relationship, but for those who maybe do, right? You're going to go to the party and you're going to pretend and you're just going to hope that they don't say something stupid again, and you're going to try not to get triggered again, and you need to be saved from an awkward situation or something you can't forget, you can't forgive. For the others of you, you got a medical diagnosis this year that's making actually this Christmas season really hard to get excited about. Your body is in a lot of pain. Maybe it's mental anxiety or stress or anguish. And so for you need to be saved from something. Maybe it's even deeper. Maybe you need to be saved from a habit, something you've tried for years to get rid of, to kick, but you just can't seem to break free. And so what does Christmas have to do with all of that? And the answer is actually everything. Because the truth is that Christmas is a reminder to us that God came to save us, to set us free. Now, I know there's some of you here maybe, and you say, I don't believe in God. I don't believe that's possible. And all I'm asking is that you just open up yourself to this possibility that there is a God who actually loves you enough to come and rescue you and set you free. But maybe you're like Steve in Nacho Libre and you believe in science. I get that, okay? You believe in science, but let me just prove to you that you actually believe something that science can't prove, okay? You ready? So for all of you who just think, science is the only way, let me tell you this. You actually all believe in love. Love cannot be weighed or measured, cannot be replicated, cannot be understood. We've tried for generations. It's still confusing to us, and yet we believe it exists. And if you're one of those people, oh, God help you, who says, well, it's just a biochemical reaction in the brain. You Scrooge, grow a heart. You know that's not true, because if that were true, when you didn't experience love, your mind would break, not your heart. There's some things in this world, as wonderful as science is, and I'm all for science, that just cannot be explained. So all I'm asking is just to be open to the possibility that there's something more. And maybe you're here and you do believe in a God, but you'd kind of like to know where he is. Like, you'd kind of like him to show up. Because quite frankly, you've asked and you're frustrated. Maybe you're anxious. Maybe you're actually even a little angry at God because you asked him to help you in something and he didn't. He didn't show up the way that you wanted. And if you've ever felt like that, you just need to know that you're not alone. As a matter of fact, most of the book we call the Bible is stories of people who wrestled with this very question. And so today we're going to deep dive into a part of the Bible where the nation of Israel is asking this question because they find themselves in a series of oppressive empires. It begins under the Egyptians and their slaves. And then once they get free from that come the Assyrians and then the Babylonians and then the Persians. And then of course in the time of Jesus, the Romans. And so in the time of the Assyrian oppression, a man by the name of Isaiah, he was a prophet, was wrestling with this question, God, where are you when we need you? We need to be saved. And of course, the nation of Israel, like you and I, believed the lie that the problem was outside of themselves. And so they kept thinking, if we just got a better political system or a new political leader, that would save us. Or if we had resources, we had wealth accumulated, that would save us. Or if we could just get relationships, people to like us, that would save us. But God's going to remind us of the problem. And this is the hard news, is not outside of us. It's inside us. It's in the heart of evil tyrants and oppressors. It's in the heart of those who strive for things that will never satisfy them. It's a broken heart. And what we experience on the outside is simply an expression, a manifestation of what's going on the inside. And so into the darkness, into the silence, into the confusion and frustration, maybe you look at the world and you go, it's not supposed to be this way. You try to pretend for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is. You hope that Bublé song is going to make you happy. You hope that turkey is going to be cooked right this year and you can enjoy it. You hope that maybe something under that tree will help you escape from your own reality. But January comes, doesn't it? And the snow. And you're faced with reality. So what do you need to be saved from? And what is God doing about it? It's a great question. And so the prophet Isaiah in chapter 9 of his book, in verse 6, he prophesies, he gives a promise of something that was going to happen. 700 years before Jesus is born, the prophet Isaiah writes these powerful words that there is going to become one who is going to save you. God is going to send someone. And he reminds them in this verse that is very familiar at Christmas time, for unto us a child is born, a son is given. It's the greatest gift. And the government will be on his shoulders. He'll be greater than any government system, any philosophy, any ideology. He will be able to carry it all, and he will be called these 4 names: Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So today we tackle the first of these 4 names, Wonderful Counselor. And what does this mean? Well, the first word in the original language is Pele, not the soccer player, but wonderful. It means astounding, amazing, supernatural, beyond belief. There's something that is available to you that you couldn't even believe it if you tried. It's so wonderful, so amazing, so powerful. It'll change your life if you dive into it. He will be called the Wonderful Counselor, one who gives advice, who guides and directs you even in the darkness. I've had the privilege most of my life of traveling all over the world. I've been to almost 50 countries in my life, and one of my trips took me to Africa, and I had a unique opportunity, a privilege that very few people get. In Africa, in the Sahara, the Masai Mara area, there's a group of people called the Maasai. They're very tall, thin warriors who jump, really high. Those guys, the Maasai, who have red ochre in their hair. They are ferocious warriors, nomadic people. And I had the privilege of going and staying with them by myself in one of their villages. Now to get to this village, we had to travel from Kenya, Nairobi, the capital, about 8 to 10 hours to this place called Majimoto, which means hot waters, because there's hot springs that come out of there. And then we had to take a Land Rover over a hill for about 4 hours in rough terrain, no road, to get to a location where they were going to pick me up and walk with me for another 4 hours into their village. So by the time we got to where we were going to meet these warriors, it was already dark. So I was thinking, okay, great, we'll just set up camp here and we'll wait till the morning. Oh no, we're going right now. It was like about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, okay, it is pitch black. And I'm with these people who I don't really know. I've just met them. They don't speak a lot of English, and I don't speak their language at all. And so they're going to be my guides. And so me and 2 of them just start walking through the darkness into a place like I've never been before. If they leave me, I am dead, like literally dead. And as we're walking, I hear growling sounds. I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. And I look and I see what I'm pretty sure are eyes looking at me. And so I'm trying to communicate to them, like, what is that? And they say to me, no problem, lions. I'm like, no problem. What books have you read? These lions eat us. They eat us. And they're like, no, you're with us. It's okay. And I was absolutely terrified. There were literally lions. I could see them. They were walking with us. But these warriors were confident, hey, we'll take them out. So I trusted them. And then we got to this village, and I still can't see anything. And they take me to this hut where I'm going to live, or for the night, Stephen and I not going to live. I couldn't do that. But they make their huts out of dung and mud, which causes a very pleasant aroma. And so dung and mud, and there's no ventilation. And so there's a fire in place. And so they say, as soon as you get in, just duck, because you're going to get hit with smoke and it'll choke you. And it does. And so I got in there, and I got this little bed, and literally it was like the size, maybe 4 feet by 2 or 3 feet. And I thought, okay, I can manage this till 3 Maasai warriors came and crawled in with me. And so, and they were without their robes. Anyway, so I just spent the night cuddled up against the wall with my backpack. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. But the next day I woke up in one of the most magical places I've ever been in the whole world. It was in the Masai Mara, in a valley. On either side of me were these green, lush mountains, and the fog was densely hovering over the earth. And the smell in the air was fresh. There was no pollution. And there were no artificial sounds. And there were no man-made concrete structures. It was nature, I think, the way it was designated to be. And it was wonderful. But I had to trust somebody to take me to a place I couldn't get to by myself. I had to trust somebody to lead me through the dark, in the face of danger, to take me somewhere that would take my breath away. And the Christmas story is this reminder that there is someone who came into this world to take you to a place you can't get to on your own. That there's a way you and I were designed to live, and ways for us to experience things, not this artificial, manufactured world we live in, not this plastic, false, fake, pretend you've got it all together world, buy stuff you don't need that you think will make you happy world, sing happy songs and yet be broken on the inside world. It's a place where you actually find hope, joy, peace, and love. And it's not by changing anything on the outside, it's by changing something on the inside. And if we knew how to get there, we'd be there already. The greatest minds and the philosophers of this world have tried to get us there. But the deeper they dive, the further sometimes they lead us astray. And so what we need is to get reconnected to a source, someone who knows the way. And Jesus came into this world and he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And you can follow me. It's an invitation. It's not a restrictive command. It's an invitation to experience life the way it was meant to be. And the way I'll do it is first by being your wonderful counselor. We're going to talk about mighty God and everlasting Father. And then for Christmas Eve, Prince of Peace. If you know somebody, or you are that somebody who needs peace in your life, I want to invite you back for our Christmas Eve experience, because we're going to dive into that. But today I want to talk to you about God, the wonderful counselor, one who gives advice, the one who speaks. And you're like, well, okay, wait. You had me till you said God speaks, because I've never heard God. I've never heard him speak, and I think people who hear him speak are a bit crazy, and you might be partially right there. But how does God speak? Well, actually, I found 4 ways from my own experience and study that really have helped me, and I hope they help you. Again, I'm not an expert. I just am someone who's tapped into this and has experienced it, and honestly I just want you to have this experience too, because it's powerful. It'll change everything. And so God does actually speak to some people audibly. You say, well, yeah, whatever, I don't believe that. Well, actually, let me prove it to you this way. Right now in this room, there are thousands of voices speaking. Like, I knew you were crazy, Bill. No, just hang with me for a second. And there's actually thousands of songs playing. The only reason you can't hear them is because they're at a frequency that your natural ears cannot pick up. But if you had a way of receiving those frequencies and translating them into a frequency that you could understand, you could hear them. We call it the radio. And so if we were able to dial into the proper channel, you may not even like what you hear, but you could still hear it. It might be a country music station, but you could still hear it. Sorry. If you have hate mail, send it to southridge.ca. Okay, so there's all these sounds going through this room. We just need to get the right frequency. And so throughout our human experience, there have been these men and women who've been able to tap into the frequency, and they've been able to transmit it in a way that we understand. And they wrote this stuff down. And it's why, for us, this book is so important, because it's those who've tapped into the frequency and written down what God is like. Even when we didn't want to hear what they were saying, even when we didn't like the channel and we wanted to change it. That's what we believe, that God still does speak to people. Now, it's rare, but he does. But there's another way that God speaks, and he speaks through stories. That's another great thing about this book. It tells us the story of God's interaction with people. And I love that, because it's messy and raw. It's not polished and sanitized. It's just real. Today is my wife's birthday. Yep. So, yeah, happy birthday to her. And so today, don't tell her, but I made a card for her. And so, but don't tell her, okay? And so in this card, I was starting to put together all these pictures. I wanted to make something meaningful, something that that was significant, because you can just buy a card, waste your money, and let someone else speak for you. That's lame. But you could actually dig into what you're all about. And so I was collecting all these pictures that I wanted to put into a kind of collage of our story. And this card for me is more than just pictures, because each of those pictures tell a story. And each of those stories are layered on each other, and they have incredible meaning. The reason that I so love this woman is because we've shared, I'm not going to tell you how long, because she doesn't like that, how long. It's been about 15 years, I think, since we were married at 12. And so it tells a story. And so when I see these pictures, I'm reminded of who she is. And I think the beauty of what we experience as a community of faith for thousands of years and for many generations, we've written down the stories. We've cut and pasted the pictures of God into something that reminds us of who he is and what he's like. And so he speaks to us audibly, but he also speaks to us through history. The third way that he speaks to us is a way that we don't always appreciate, and it's our conscience. See, you just need to know that we believe that we were created in the image of God, that we weren't a cosmic belch, that actually there is a God, a designer who made us in his image. And because he made us in this image, he put a little mechanism in us. It's called our conscience. It's that little voice that nags at you when you know you're not supposed to be doing something and you try to ignore it because you want to do it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that little voice that says you should do something good, and you try to ignore that too because you don't want to, because it cost you something. It's that part of you that wrestles with this deep question. The greatest thing is that you were built with a mechanism to explore the deepest things of life. It's why you've wondered, is there something more? It's why you ask these philosophical questions. It's why a lot of you numb it with Netflix and with alcohol and drugs and with shallow and superficial relationships, because to listen to it exposes the reality that you're broken. And these are three ways that God speaks to us, but there's a fourth and maybe the most powerful one, and it's the reason we celebrate Christmas. And the author in a book called Hebrews, in chapter 11, verse 1, reminds us that in the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets, those who had the frequency to listen to the radio waves, at many times and in various ways. So sometimes he did it through stories, and sometimes he did it through direct communication. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things. And of course, this Son he's speaking of is Jesus, born in a manger, who would grow to be a full man, be an amazing teacher, live the way of love, not just talked about it, but lived it, touched the untouchable, hung out with those that no one else would associate with, healed those who were sick in mind and body, and with broken hearts, he walked the talk. This Son will be the heir of all things, and through him also he made the universe. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being. So you would never have to say, what is God like? You'd never have to guess. If you want to know what somebody is like, you just got to hang out with them, right? It's true that saying, actions speak louder than words. People can say all the right thing. It's called the first date. And then you really get to know them. Actions speak louder than words. And so in this Christmas story, we're reminded that God said, I'm not going to just speak to you from a distance anymore. I'm going to actually live among you. And so he's the exact representation of God's being, sustaining all things by his powerful word. So what does God do with our brokenness? What does God do with the things that we need to be saved from, especially when that thing is actually us? The Japanese have this beautiful form of art. It's called kintsugi. And kintsugi is more than art. It's actually a philosophy. It's a way of looking at life. And I love it because it communicates what I think this author is trying to say. And so here's a picture of kintsugi. Obviously, for generations, the Japanese used lacquer plates and bowls. And of course, if you've ever worked with lacquer or have had lacquer cutlery, not cutlery, what is it called? Platery? I don't know. I'm just making up words. I can do that. I'm up here. Bowlery and platery. Those things. And cuppery. I don't know. When they hit the ground, they obviously break. And so rather than try to disguise the flaws and to cover them over, the Japanese have discovered a way of actually making a glue that has gold in it. And they fill the cracks and the crevices, believing that every piece of broken pottery has a story. And that it's not meant to be hidden, but it's meant to be restored. And that actually the finished product is more beautiful than the original. It's called kintsugi. And I think this is the story of Christmas. That God looks at the things that we need to be saved from, the broken pieces of our life. And he says, I'm not going to try to hide them. I'm not going to sweep you away. I'm not going to throw you in the garbage. Instead, I'm going to insert myself into your life. Instead, I'm going to insert myself into the cracks and the crevices, the broken pieces, and I'm going to restore you into something more beautiful, more useful. For kintsugi sells for a lot more than lacquer platery. I'm going to say it till 6. And so where is God in your brokenness? Where is God in the darkness? Where is God in your mistakes and failures? Where is He? He is with you, in you, and willing to work through you. This is why He's also given the name Emmanuel, which means God with us. And I know there are some people who say, well, you know what? Maybe that's true, but I need God to just show up for me right now. And Jesus actually addressed that in a story. He told a story of a poor beggar named Lazarus who sat at the gate of a rich man. We don't even know his name. That's the point of the story. And in this story, the rich man would go past this poor beggar to his opulence every day and do nothing to extend grace or mercy, and both die. And in the afterlife, the rich man is tormented, for he never found the meaning of life. He never allowed the God of the universe to heal the broken pieces of him. But this beggar, who on the surface externally had everything against him, had found the restorative power of God. And so in this interaction in the afterlife, the rich man begs the angel, the prophet, to send someone back to tell his brothers to save them from the lie, to save them from the deception, to save them from the darkness. And Jesus in this parable responds that if they would not listen to the prophets or to Moses, they won't believe even if someone was raised from the dead. And the point being that unless you're willing, like the wise men, to seek Him, unless you're willing, like the shepherds, to leave everything and come and find Him, unless you're willing to say, I have your way in my life like Mary and Joseph, you can't experience Him. For He is personal and He is intimate. And He extends the invitation, but it must be received. It must be embraced. It must be lived. And so as we begin this Christmas season, I just wanted to give you the opportunity, the invitation that is not mine to give, but rather to extend, the one that has already been given by the God who made you. I want you just to explore the possibility, because I believe it's true that there's a God who made you and loves you, a God who knows your broken situation, a God who knows exactly what you need to be saved from and is willing to put the pieces back together into something beautiful and useful. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Christ, our Lord and King. So God, as we begin the Christmas season, we take a moment to just be reminded of what it's really about, that you came to save us. You're the wonderful counselor who is willing to guide and lead us to places we can't go on ourselves, on our own. If we could fix it, we would have done it already. But we need to humbly acknowledge we can't. We need to humbly acknowledge that actually the harder we try, sometimes the worse it gets. And so, in this moment of thoughtful reflection and prayer, I'm just going to ask you to just keep your eyes closed just for a minute. If you're watching online, I want to encourage you to join us in this moment. Even if you're all by yourself, you're with us in this moment. I want to ask you, if you're here and you need to be saved, you need to be saved from yourself, and you know it. And today, you're willing, like the wise men, to seek him, the shepherds to come and bow before him, like Mary and Joseph to say, I'm ready. If you're here today, whether this is your first time or maybe you've been coming to church all your life, but you acknowledge again today that you just need him to save you, and today you're willing to acknowledge the Christ of Christmas. You're willing to say, I will follow you. Lead me. I need a way out. I want you to take me to a place I can't get to. If that's you in this place, with every head bowed and every eye closed, I just can't think of a better way to start the Christmas season than by acknowledging our need and the fact that he is Lord. And so if you're here today and that's you, I just want you to raise your hand really high as an act of surrender. Yeah, just all over this place. Whether this is your first time you've ever done this or you've done it 100,000 times, but you just know, you acknowledge. Watching online, same thing, because I just want to pray with you. Just anyone who says, yes, I need him to come and heal the broken pieces of my life. I need him to come and lead me. I can't do this on my own. I acknowledge it right now. Thank you. You can put your hands down. And so, God, I love the Christmas story because you don't look for the talented or the wise. You don't look for the beautiful or the powerful. You look for the willing. And so today we've raised our hands. We're just saying, I'm willing. God, we need to experience your love. And so this Christmas, I just pray that would be so real to all of us. In your name I pray. Amen. If you're watching online and you made that decision and you'd like to know what that means or you'd like follow-up, please just interact with our online pastor right now. If you're here today in this experience, there's going to be a prayer team at the front that would love to pray with you, but the best way is to go to the great big blue wall and meet somebody and just say, what do I need to do next? Because there's something great for you. And so I bless you with a Christmas blessing today. It is true that this world is sometimes very dark. It is true that this world is often broken. And there are times when I, like you, find myself shattered on the floor of experience, wondering why or where God is. But the answer is not found under a tree at Christmas time. The answer was born in a manger 2,000 years ago. This answer would grow up to show us what love really looks like and would invite us into experiencing this kind of love, not just by receiving it, but by expressing it. This answer would die on a cross to demonstrate that even in the greatest atrocity, love can still win. And on the third day, he rose again in victory, proving that there's new life and new hope, even beyond death's door. So may you experience the true meaning and power of Christmas this year. May you have fun with food and festivities and presents, but may you not be distracted by the true power of this season, that love came to rescue us and to show us the way to live, to experience freedom. So may you experience it, may you express it, and may it transform your heart. I bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.